We are back. I'm back. When I come over here, it's the spizz out over there in the cut, man. There's houses back here and stuff too. I feel like I feel like some people they probably listen to me talking. It's quiet around here, but I feel good, man. I feel good. I showered. I showered. I shaved. I am 44 years old. Some people say 40 is the new 20. No, they lying. You 40, you 40 at your age. But I feel good. And one of the things I attribute to how I feel and how I look, I've had various people come up to me like, yo, Jared, you don't look like you're 44. You in good shape. You take care of yourself. Like, how come you ain't got a girl, man? How come you ain't married? Slow down. That's a whole nother topic. I wanted to come out. I had a couple spots I wanted to go to. It's raining right now. You can't really see it, but you know, the sky is really, really cloudy. Maybe you can hear the rain. Maybe you don't. But it's raining. That's why you see the umbrella. I had a couple spots that I wanted to go to, but on a Saturday, a lot of people tend to come out. A lot of people tend to go to the places that I like to. And when it's raining, I don't feel like messing with the highways and certain streets. So I come to my spot. This is my spot. Let's get it. You know, when I moved back to the East Coast, because I used to live in Vegas, I moved to Vegas at about 19 years old. And I lived out there for about maybe 5, 6 years. But one of the years I don't really count because I kind of, I wasn't free, if you catch my drift. I was moving a mile a minute, and then, you know, the law caught up with me. So we'll just leave it at that. When I came out, I'm going to be totally honest with y'all. One of the only reasons that I actually moved back home is because I had just gotten released. I had just had my second kid with the second female on top of me sleeping with someone who was married. And that person, you know, called me up. It was like, oh, Jared, I'm pregnant. The baby's yours. I said, girl, what are you talking about? Like, you're married. And her husband, she was the home girl, you know, through the whole time I was out there. We did what we did. But her husband, there's an Air Force base in Vegas. I think it's Nellis Air Force. You know what? Let me just be quiet. I'm keeping it too real. We're not going to disregard that last statement. And with that being said, it's Jared, the 20-year recovering sex addict, 20-year recovering abusive sex addict, no filters, no edits, no redos, a channel that is not in YouTube's algorithm. You ain't gonna find another channel like mine, bro. You not, man. I don't see anybody on YouTube with the content quite like mine. You can talk about women, talk about mistakes, you can talk about God, but no one kind of has the way that I flip the message, you know? The delivery that I'm giving it to you and the rawness, man. No, I've lived a crazy life, man. And a lot of people have said that, men and women. So one of the reasons I started this channel is because books are outdated. I had people like, Jared, you need to write a book. Jared, if they made a movie off of your life, man, that shit would be a blockbuster hit, excuse my language. But we're in the age of technology, and with social media running rampant, now you see the channel. And this is the channel that is not in YouTube's algorithm. Never asked you to like, comment, subscribe. Never asked you to donate. Never asked you to do anything that you don't want to do. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. And if it's not, hey, man, I wish you the best. But trust me, should you pay attention to me and my content, man, you might have a laugh and you might learn something too. So pull up a chair. Anyway, yeah, disregard the statement about me sleeping with. You know what? I didn't sleep with anybody. Don't worry about that. When I first came back home and moved back to my mom's house, my mother was sick. I didn't realize it. But I started back on the ish that I was on. You know, I was fresh from jail. I had a kid. I disguised it like, let me come back home, you know, get my money right, you know, because what I was doing to take care of my second child out there, I don't want to talk about, but I was moving, doing stuff that technically could get me violated and sent back. And I was on probation. Yeah, I was on probation too. I think I was on probation. I don't know, man. I don't know. I had classes and this and that. And technically, when I moved back to my mom's house, they could have violated me and sent me back to to jail in Vegas. But I had a good lawyer, and they just closed the case out because I'm like, yo, they ain't coming 3,000 miles to come get me to lock me up, even if you issued a warrant. Like, he tried to threaten me, like, Jared, you know, you could go back. I'm like, they ain't coming 3,000 miles to do all that. And they didn't. You know, the case dragged on for a little bit and they let me go. But when I came back home, it took me a minute to get back on the stuff that I was on, you know. But I hit up, you know, I had a couple of females that was the homegirls, you know. And let me tell y'all something, man. I'm rambling on this one, but we going there on this one. This is just strictly off the cuff. I see so many people on YouTube, you know, referring to women as hoes and whores. Oh, she's a slut. Look at her body count. Look at this. She does that. We're not talking about ones that are realistically that, OnlyFans, this and that really monetize themselves. I'm just talking about the options that women have now and how they proceed in life and what they do. Let me drop some info to some of the young men out there that don't really get how the game goes. I wouldn't call myself, you know, a hoe, which is debatable. Some women might refer to me as that. Okay, maybe I was a little bit of a hoe, but I wasn't a slut. I wasn't a slut. There's a difference. But men like myself, even if you're dealing with women with checkered past, and you know, they like to do them. We'll put it like that and keep it as PG as possible. You'll never hear us refer to women as hoes and whores. Nah. That's the home girl. That's the homie. You know what I'm saying? What you see is red flags, and what we see is par for the course, man. That's why I think I might title this one, Red Flags. But I called up a few women, and, you know, I got back on my ish, and they're like, oh, Jared, you know, where you been, this and that? Like, you just disappeared. I ain't tell nobody I was moving to Vegas. I just, like, yo, smoking a blunt one day, like, yo, Jared, where you gonna be at, man? Yo, man, I'm out, man. I'm about to catch this flight. Like, where you going? Vegas. Like, yeah, all right. Then I was gone for years. I'm like, damn, this dude really bounced. But I came back and I got up, you know, a couple females that I was cool with, you know, hit them up like nothing happened. Like, nigga, I ain't heard from you in like 5 years, and like, what's up? People knew I had a couple of kids with a couple different women out there, but I'm back home now. Like, oh, Jared, you know, I changed, you know, I got this going on. I got a baby. I got my man, and, you know, we might get married. I'm like, oh, word? Like, yeah, yo, that's cool, man. So what's up? You ain't coming out? You ain't riding? Much respect to them, man. You know, I'm just saying that I never pass judgment on females, you know. Now, if you acting reckless with me and I'm exclusive with you, then yeah, you know, I'm going to feel some type of way. But in general, what I see a lot of men taking personal, I'm just seeing a lot of women with options, and they're exercising those options. And unfortunately, you have cameras, phones, and social media that documents everything. So the stuff that you see going on now has always been going on. It's just that it hasn't been for everyone to view. Now it is. Your issues out there in the public. And some women choose to capitalize off that. But, you know, the game don't change, man. It's just different players, you know. I had a bunch of red flags, and it never deterred any women. What women like is what women like, and that's what guys need to realize. And regardless of your pockets, you know, what you wear, what you acquire, your job, all this stuff, it's not gonna matter. Man, y'all see what I'm wearing, man? Nothing, man. I got my tights on. I ain't wearing nothing special. I got a little Hard Rock sweatshirt on. Matter of fact, I think this is that. Never mind. But I don't care. Everything that I buy is workout clothes, workwear, you know, stuff that's that I can wear to the job, and, you know, cheap stuff from like Walmart and fitness, you know, Under Armour, stuff like that. But I ain't bought name brand stuff and jewelry and all that stuff, and I don't know how many years, because I simply just don't give a damn. And when women like you, they're not going to give a damn either. But I know that I know my mother felt some sort of way, right? Because when I got back home, I didn't look for a job. I didn't do a damn thing. It didn't take me long to find me a little ride or die. And I was messing with this older female. Yo, the irony is this woman lives, she used to live in the town where I actually work now. I hope she don't live there no more. If you ever find this video, man, you know I'm about to let me move forward. So anyway, I met her through my boys' friends party, her older sister, you know, and she was older. She had a friend, and the chick looked like, man, there was a song that came out called by KP and Envy called Swing My Way. Like, Shorty, swing my way. Like, yeah. So there was a little light skin joint in there and a dark skin bro. She looked like the little white girl, except she was chubby and she had a big booty. And the irony is she had a kid. I think her kid was like 12 or 13 at the time. But the kid looked just like me. Keep in mind, this woman's older. But it bugged me out, you know, because I didn't want people to think that was my kid. First of all, what I do have you when I was 11? You know what I mean? But I would just pop up to my mom's house, you know, and I wasn't working. I wasn't doing nothing. I had a couple of kids, you know, back on the West Coast. And I had another chick that was claiming I had another baby, but she was married. I told you I'm not going to elaborate on that. But I can tell the disdain that my mother had for me. You know what I'm saying? I knew that she knew I was going down the wrong route, and I'm really sorry for that, you know, because I didn't take life personal. I was just looking for the next high. Not realistically like weed, but just, I love women, you know, like women got me high. I love women in all shapes and all sizes. You know, my thing was big breasts and big areolas, you know. I was just a sucker for that. Like, that's my thing. I'm not really a booty man, you know what I'm saying? But I just, white, black, Spanish, fat, in shape, don't matter. Like, I love the female body, and I had this urge to just want to dominate and impregnate every woman I see. Like, every woman that and you know, I realize some people are going to feel some sort of way about what I'm saying. Like, yo, Jared, that's crazy. This was my crutch. I told y'all, you know, what it is. Like, this, I'm a recovering sex addict. Like, I don't know what else to tell y'all. Like, this is my crutch. I got high off of vagina, man, and women loving me and laying down with them and wanting to dominate them, you know. I fed off the attention and the love and the affection that I had with women. And don't look into my eyes. You know what? Anyway, I used to pull up. One day I would pull up with this chick's car. I was gone for days at a time. My mother would be like, yo, whose car is that out there? I was like, oh, you know, such and such. Yeah, like, that's her car. Like, well, what you doing with it? Oh, well, you know, I gotta go pick her up later on. She's like, where you been? I don't know. You ain't been home. You ain't doing this. Like, what about your kids back west? I'm like, oh, man, you know. She's like, are you looking for a job? Man, I didn't do nothing. I had every red flag in the book, man. I used to go drop her off at work, come back, hit the block, come back. She don't smoke. Car smell like weed and french fries, on empty, late to pick her kid up from school. Like, I was a real Pookie and Ray Ray, man. I wasn't ish. And my mother knew that. But I said all these things. I'm talking so long because I didn't realize I was the problem, because I got away with it. Like, women let me get away with this. Every time I got up with her, she would damn near give me an allowance. We would go, every night was the same routine. Like, we would go to the bar. I never paid for one drink. She paid for all my drinks. She would give me money. We go back to her crib. Once her kid fell asleep, she would wait for me to smoke a whole blunt, and then I would beat it up. And the crazy thing about that is, like, the only reason I stopped seeing her one day is because I remember her talking about her lease being up. Yo, her father stayed in her father was staying with her too. He had his own little bedroom, so I'm probably giving out too much information. You know what? I don't care. This is my life. I can't make this up. But I remember her talking about how her lease was up, and she was like, oh, you know, we need a you know, a bigger place because you here now. And I'm looking at it. I didn't say nothing to her, but I'm like, yo, what you, like, I ain't moving in. What you mean we need a bigger place? You better keep this place or keep the same side. No. We ain't doing none of that right now. You know my situation. You know I got situations out west, and, you know, we having a good time. You know, I F with you like that, but we having a good time. Don't F up the good time. That, and the fact that I went to a pool party, and one of my young boys, you know, he was like 21, Because at that time, I think I was about 24 or 25 or something like that. And I went to this pool party, and he had a bad chicks around. They all in bikinis. And I remember I was talking to this one chick. She was like 21, and that body was right. She was so right. And I had homegirl's car. I had to go pick her up from work. She was so right. I ain't even want to have sex with homegirl no more. That coupled with her talking crazy about the lease, I went back that night. I didn't feel like doing nothing. And I knew she knew, like, oh, you know, what's wrong? I'm like, what's wrong is I done stepped into a young hot tamale that looked right in that bikini, and she about 21 and looked like she sent from heaven. I spent a whole check on that. But you know, I didn't go out of bounds. I didn't disrespect her like that. Like I had her car. I had to go pick her up from work and all that stuff. But that's the only reason. If you ever find this channel, that's the only reason why I stopped talking to you. I know I kind of just deaded it out of nowhere. But one, you was talking crazy about the lease, and like we were gonna be together. And two, I met that bad bitch. Excuse my language, but she was bad. She was bad. That's the type. Some of y'all want bad bitch. Y'all don't want no bad bitch, man. No, you don't. Because I done been with silverbacks, big women, in shape women, black, white, Spanish. When you got a real quote unquote baddie, it ain't nothing but a headache. It's fight game. It's every day. Every day you getting tested. You don't want that pressure. Trust me. Some of y'all think y'all want a good looking girl. Nope. You gonna have outside pressure every day at the job, in school, just going to the park, going to the grocery store. It's just, you're gonna be in battles every single day. You do not want that. And we ain't even talking about what happens on social media. You got thousands of all types of shapes of whatever in that DM, in that box. You don't want to deal with that. Hold on for a second. But yeah, it's crazy. Oh man, I'm at like 17 minutes. It's crazy. Let me wrap this up. It's crazy because like people like myself, society will see a dead end, you know? Men will see a do not enter. I'm talking about the red flags, you know? But women will see, come on in. Knock before entering. Let me see what's going on over here. Like it's you're either that guy or you're not, you know? And most men, like they just don't realize how the world really works. How females work. You can't blame a female for saying the things that they want and then doing the opposite. You can't blame them for cheating. You can't blame them for monkey branching. You can't blame them for you know, keeping a side Negro. You can't really blame them for anything, man. Like it's the game, you know. But if you haven't ever played the game, then you're not gonna realize it. Like if you've been on the sidelines your whole life and you ain't never been that starting five, you ain't never been a key player, you ain't never host, then you're just not gonna understand that women do what women do. And it's not for a man to understand. They like what they like. And what entices them is fair game, you know. It's just a game. Either you play it or you don't. It's the red flags. I didn't know that I truly was messed up. I didn't know that I truly had a problem until my ex-fiance was getting ready to leave me. I was like 30-something years old, man. At that time, I finally, before I had gotten locked up, I was in a situation. I was so bad that I was having sex, you know, 2, 3, 4 times a day, every day, getting ridiculously high. My pill tolerance was ridiculous. My weed tolerance was ridiculous. My alcohol tolerance was ridiculous. And I just spent more time having sex than I did any, like that was my job, you know, like towards the end of And I haven't even elaborated on that time in my life because it takes a lot out of me, but I will at some point. But I remember in a moment of clarity, which I never had, in a small little window of, I don't want to say sobriety, but when, I was in between drugs, and I realized this was like probably a couple months before I had gotten locked up. I was like, no woman is going to tolerate this. I don't care how much money you got, how big your PP is, where you are in life, what you drive, and none of that. Like, just in general, what I represent, the type of man that I am, no woman is going to tolerate this. Like, I'm never going to be able to have or sustain a real relationship because I have so many issues. And it's fun in the heat of the moment. I'm a great guy to have fun with, but actually laying a foundation and having some type of sustenance in life, I had none of that. I didn't take life seriously. I didn't take anything seriously. I just kept moving from one situation to the next, to the next, to the next. And when this situation with this female messed up, okay, let me move on to this one. When this one messed up, okay, let me move on to this one. But I never closed the book. I never came to a conclusion. I never finalized anything. So do you know how many situations I have with women that were just here today, gone tomorrow, and then boom, just gone? Like, that's why I made it short a long time ago with my youngest daughter in that photo saying sometimes closure never comes. And most of y'all know what I'm talking about because you deal with the same thing. Red flags are red flags, You've been there way before social media. But women love what they love. It is what it is. Damn, I'm at 22 minutes. I wanted to talk about something else too, and I went off on this rant. I might have to make a part 2. These are all true stories, man. Thank y'all for tuning into my life. It's Jared, the 20-year recovering sex addict, 20-year recovering abusive sex addict. No filters, no edits, no redos. You know my name, you know my slogan. Discernment over delusion. Live and stand for something greater than one's own self-gratification, man. I love y'all. I'm out.